further ado, rather, let's jump into the game and see what the map has in store for us. And here we go, switching the scene over, and welcome everyone, welcome to game number 2 between Rylo and Bromite, as we join them in Division B, the second round for Group 4 of the Australian Open. Oh, hey Mim, how's it going, man? Another water map? No, well, kind of. Let me quickly undo the fog of war. And I mean, I've never seen this map before in my life, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how this one plays out in terms of commentating and casting it. But it's not arena, it's actually pond arena, and I remember seeing Pyro casting this one as well. I think it was Pyro, Pyro and Flightless casting this as the games are going. But we'll have a wee chat about that in just a minute. Let's introduce the players first and get all that sort of professionalism stuff out of the way as well. So playing up here to the north of the map is the man himself from New Zealand, Rylo, and this is of course his home map. Yeah, this is of course his home map, and he has chosen to play as the Mongols for this civilization match up. And the map, yeah, I mean, again, we'll come to the map very soon. His opponent so far leading the series 1-0 is Fort Bromite, playing down here to the south of the map in the red, playing as the Aztecs as well. Playing as the Aztecs rather, and as I said, the map is Pond Arena, and it does look quite interesting. And there's a few points that I want to bring up about this map. But first of all, we'll have a look at the generic sort of layouts of both of these players' maps, because it is sort of a hybrid. It's sort of like a Baltic arena kind of thing. So we'll have a look at the arena section of the map first. So Rylo has his main gold out here towards the front of his base. A bit unfortunate for him because it is harassable. What the hell is that wall piece doing? It's doing absolutely jack all. But yeah, Rylo has his main gold out here towards the front of his base, harassable by castle drops, towers, any sort of funny business like that. Out here to the left, he has a secondary gold as well. A little bit unfortunate for him also, seeing as though seeing as though it is outside of his walls and pretty easily harassable. A stone outside of his walls, again, nasty. Never really want to have that, especially as the Mongols. We probably want to be going for Mangudai in the late game if the game does transition into a land-based warfare. And in saying that, he does have two other stones out here to the right-hand side of his economy. Again, both going to be quite harassable and easy to pick off from by his opponent. And to finish it off, he has his gold, a secondary gold again, or tertiary if you like to call it that, out here towards the right-hand side of his economy. Now his walls, okay, I don't want to come to that just yet because that's a definitive difference between the maps of these two guys. Having a look at Bromite's map, well, we can see that he has stone towards the front of his base as well. Not such a big deal for the Aztecs in a non-mirror matchup, because we're not really expecting to see too many Jaguar warriors coming out, for example. He has his main gold out here toward the left-hand side of his base, and that's actually not too bad. That's an okay position. He can of course delete all of these walls and have 2 extra stone piles here for himself as well, and he does have a gold out towards the front of his base, and to round it off he has a couple of extra golds out here to the right hand flank as well. Now here's the point that we really wanted to bring in, because the difference between arena and pond arena is obviously the giant fuck off pond in the center of the map. Now of course this does this adds another dimension and a little bit of extra versatility to the game and to the playstyles, because we can see here, for example, that the walls of Bromite do not actually zone him off from getting this water safely. He can put up a dock here without fear of harassment by his opponent's scouts or anything like that, and he can start taking this fish. He can start taking the deep sea fish out in the water out in the center of the map, whereas what we can see here from Rylo is that he has to delete a wall piece and apparently place his dock down exactly where Bromite's Eagle Warrior was currently going to be walking. Now we can see as well that it can be, and there we go, the harassment can come on straight away from Bromite on Rylo, who by the way has an unloomed villager, and this is probably going to die now as well unless he can get it back to the TC in time. It's going to be clutch. It's going to be touch and go. He's going to duck in there and die if this is not a no. Get out of there. He wanted to die. I guess he wanted to die. A little bit unfortunate for Bromite there as well. But as I was saying, if the water control goes in favor of Rylo here, then he's going to have a really easy access into his opponent's base.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
He's going to have easy. Thank you very much for the follow. He's going to have a he wanted to die. Funny, that's exactly what I just said. But he's going to have easy access into his opponent's base. Someone asking in the chat, is this bugged map for Pond Arena? I honestly have no idea. I've never seen a Pond Arena map before in my life, so this is quite exciting for me to cast. But as I said, it's going to be quite easy access into the base here for Bromite of Rylo. But either way, both of them going up with a dock here as well, which means that we could potentially be seeing a Grush as they both try and battle it out for the water, and in that case the Aztecs are going to fall somewhat short, as they definitely do not have as nice a water civilization, or they're not as nice a water civilization as the Mongols. Obviously, Rylo now able to click up to the feudal age in a blazingly fast time, owing to the fact that he's just gobbled through his boar just so quickly, clicking up on 18 villages, so 19 population up to the feudal age as well. Oh my god, got scared. Yeah, I still haven't turned it down. It's fucking loud, and I'm very sorry for that as well. Yeah, but we can see fishing ships now coming out as well for Rylo. Which is all well and good to see for him as well. Do we see the fishing ships coming out for our Aztec player Bromite for the time being? Switching over, well, yes we do, and just like in the previous game, he's deciding he wants to go ahead and take these wee tiddlers, these wee shorefish, and I mean, we can't argue with that logic, we can't argue with that strategy, since he did it the exact same way last time, and he managed to take that victory as well. Scaring people is good. Okay, well, fair enough. I guess it keeps everyone awake, and it is 12:15 in the morning here for me as well. So maybe it's good for me to be able to get scared every time we get a wee follow as well. And Rylo going ahead and walling up as well with a house and potentially some palisades across here to at least deter any sort of funny business coming in from Bromite. But of course, Bromite, he's probably going to be going up on a crap ton of villages, a crap ton of population, seeing as though that is exactly what he liked to do in the previous game. It's not bugged, just unlucky, apparently, says Robo. Second dock now coming up for our blue player Rylo as well. Gelly's coming out immediately, sending them straight across to his opponent's side of the map. Oh, okay, actually, Bromite clicking up only on 27 population this time, not like the 33 or something that we saw from the last water game in the previous match. But of course, he is a little bit outmatched in terms of the upgrade time. Double dock already up for our Mongol player Rylo, and he's going to start sending his galleys out straight across the map, see what damage he can do to his opponent's water-based economy. Back at home, oh no, that was the Eagle Scout. I thought he lost a villager, but Rylo, apart from sending the galleys out straight away, he's also oversaturating the crap out of his woodline back here. But I guess that is just a virtue of going up so quickly, as the Mongols, you don't really have too much wood to spare for an extra lumber camp. And saying that, out come the galleys, and essentially down go these fishing ships from Bromite as well. Unfortunately for him, is he? No, he is focus firing the fishing ships. So well done to Rylo, and for the time being, at least, he is holding a definitive advantage over his opponent. Bromite, however, is he going to be going for a castle? Fast castle. Well, it certainly doesn't look like it. He's losing all his fishing. He doesn't have that much food left on his berries, and he doesn't have any farms seeded as of yet either. So what is his strategy going to be? Well, he could either try and push back on the water. We've seen that he is a very apt and decent water player, or he might start trying to think of some sort of funky land business at the same time. Anyway, into the feudal age is Bromite, and let's see what his strategy of choice is going to be. He's moving some villages out here to the right hand side. He's dropping a blacksmith. Okay, is he going to be going galleys? Well, no galleys are coming out. He is getting a second dock up, so it looks like he's going to try and rush this dock up here, get the early fletching, and try and push back the galleys here of Rylo in this little pond. Looks like that is the strategy of choice here. Fast imp cannon galleons would wipe red out. Yeah, something tells me that fast imp cannon galleons is not the strategy of choice. The second dock has now come up for Bromite, however, and it is 2 docks apiece. 5 military to zilch, zip, absolutely nothing. But for the time being, all the action, ladies and gentlemen, all the action is focused in the center of the map in this pond, this weird ass pond on this awfully bizarre map. If you don't take a deep breath, we must call an ambulance soon. No, I talk very quickly There's just so much that I like to say, and yeah, I've been told quite often that I talk quickly, but I do like to make sure that there's not too many pauses. But I have been trying. I've been practicing taking pauses every now and again. But yeah, a lot of the time I just think that there's so much to say, and I like to try and get it all out as quickly as I possibly can. Of course, I always forget that not everyone and not everyone is a native English speaker, so maybe I do speak a bit quickly. But of course, at the same time, if they really need me to slow down, then I definitely will. But anyway, we can see 7 military now, 7 galleys to 3 in favour of Rylo, as a couple of galleys sneak out across the right-hand side here from Bromite. The sneaky wee badgie is going to move all the way around this huge pond. Actually, yeah, that's a good point, Pyro. I do actually speak pretty normally for a Kiwi anyway. But in come the galleys here on the fishing ships of Rylo. Rylo, not born yesterday, not caught unawares, and he doesn't need to bring all of his galleys back, though. He just needs to keep 2 or 3 galleys back here to start picking off these. Yeah, he's recognizing that now, and he's bringing his front galleys back to start taking down the docks. And 4 galleys to 3 out on the front, 4 galleys to 2 out on the right-hand side, and Rylo still with the advantage, the earlier fletching than his opponent. Of course. That's right, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so the galley numbers still quite heavily, or not heavily in favour, but still in favour here for Rylo. And I'm still surprised, I'm still very impressed as well that Bromite has managed to make a comeback, for want of a better term, on the water. Of course, he does have one idle fishing ship, whereas the fishing ships here from Rylo have been working overtime and have been working the whole time during the feudal age. So in that case, in that regard, he should have a bit of an advantage, and he is showing off a nice bit of micro ducking and dipping and diving and dodging here to avoid the arrow shots from his opponent, Bromite. Unfortunately, he forgot to actually shoot at the galleys, which is a little bit detrimental, but at the same time, he is managing to get those picks on the galleys there from Bromite.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Thank you very much for the follow. But Rylo is just now managing to take what I would consider to be definitive and conclusive control of the water now. And that begs the question, what is Bromite going to do off the back of this? Is he going to keep producing galleys? Well, no, he's not. Horse collar now coming in for Rylo as well. But we saw a quick scan over the Aztec economy here from Bromite, and he has a good number of farms up. And obviously with the very strong Aztec economy, he will find himself very quickly propelled into the castle age. With which, I mean, what could he do? Well, he could see a wee tower hop. He could see a forward siege and monk push. We saw that previously from oh goodness gracious me, who was it? It's completely slipped my mind, but we saw a smush earlier on with an Aztec player on Gold Rush. Could be super fun and super strong to see that again here. Not really sure whether it will happen, but what I do know for sure is that water control is quite definitively in favour of Rylo here as well. I thought Bromite was just going to smush at first. It could also be quite fun. I doubt if those Aussies are capable of monk micro. What the hell, man? Jesus Christ. Maybe Phoenix is still a little bit salty over the fact that he hasn't managed to beat Octagonal Dick in the 2 games that he's played him. I think Octagonal was unbeaten against Phoenix for the time being. But anyway, Bromite getting awfully close to clicking up to the Castle Age. Switching over to Rylo's point of view, the same can be said for him as well. He's just a couple hundred food and a little bit of gold away. He would be able to do a bit of market magic and buy his way up if he needs to. Indeed, selling a bit of wood, selling a bit of stone, and he'll be up there in a good amount of time as well. Bromite, however, having clicked up to the Castle Age now as well, having clicked up to the Castle Age now, rather not as well, but before his opponent, Rylo now clicking up as well. And again, this begs the question, what is going to happen? Well, Bromite sending a sneaky wee villager forward out on the left-hand side, and he's going ahead and chucking down a barracks now as well. Octagonal got a civ win. I don't think Octagonal got a civ win at all. I think Octagonal was just super strong and too strong. Now, is Rylo going to start taking advantage of the fact that he has water control? Yes, he is. He's going to start getting those fishing ships out, and that's only going to provide an even bigger food boost to his economy. But again, out here on the left-hand side, I have to reiterate the fact that Bromite is chucking down a barracks. And could we be seeing eagles in the Castle Age from him? Well, I don't think so, and indeed I am correct, as we see an archery range now being thrown up with padded archer armor being researched for Bromite now as well. So is he going to go super aggressive? Is he going to go siege? Is he going to go absolutely ham and bust down the walls? Well, Rylo, not born yesterday, putting up a barracks and a stable out here on the left-hand side of his economy, recognizing that now he has the water. His opponent is going to be trying some funny business, some funky business on land. So, of course, chucking up a stable and grabbing scale barding armor for himself right now means that he is also going to have some presence on the land, and he has moved out to stone out at the back of his base as well. Maybe he's looking to go for an old school 6 TC boom, or maybe he's looking to get up a castle to get those Mangudai out for the late game. A siege workshop being thrown up on the front, and I do believe that would probably answer Phoenix's question as well. What is he going to do with archers and what is he going to do with eagles? Well, he's going to get a siege workshop up. He's going to try and bust a hole in his opponent's walls, and he's going to try and put the pressure on the land-based economy of Rylo. Castle Age now done for Rylo as well, with bloodlines coming in and a secondary stable being plonked up to the left-hand side of his economy. Means that he should be in a good spot to be able to hopefully hold this forward aggression from his opponent. But it's one Eagle Warrior, potentially just to do some scouting on his opponent here. And Crossbowman and Bodkin Arrow now coming in for Bromite as well. Any extra TCs up for either of these players? Well, yep, out here on the left-hand side, there's an extra town centre coming up. There's an extra town centre coming up here on the left-hand side for Bromite. Rylo, on the other hand, not... No, he is. There we go. Out on the left-hand side as well. A TC and a house. Interesting position for a house. He's laming a lot of his wood there, but you know, it's picky business, picky business. Now, of course, the interesting thing here, there is a monastery coming up as well. Did Bromite scout the stables? Well, no, he hasn't scouted the stables, but now he has, and this monastery is now starting to look like a very, very clever idea. Obviously, the mangonels and the crossbows here would be quite easily countered by a couple of knights coming out from Rylo, but now that the Aztec monks are going to be flowing thick and fast out of this monastery, it's going to provide a fantastic counter to the knights from Rylo. Rylo now going for forging as well. I do believe he got chain barding armor just before, so he should be in an okay spot to at least be able to start stay in the fight against the crossbow, stay in the fight against the eagles and the spears. Unfortunately, the monks that hopefully will start coming out from Bromite, not going to be as easy to counter for the Mongol knights here, unfortunately. And here we go. The knights now coming in as well. The knights now streaming thick and fast across the map. Well, okay, there was 3 knights. It's not really thick and fast at all. But the knights coming out now from Rylo, managing to snipe off 2 mangonels, losing 1 knight and getting severe damage inflicted to the other 3 as he retreat. No, he's pushing back in. Okay, now we're seeing a monk coming out as well. And this is where the Aztec player is really, really going to shine. Obviously, the Aztec monks just super, super strong. And still no extra TC for Rylo either. Does he have the resources to do it? Well, let's quickly switch over to his point of view. And yeah, he does have the extra resources. Oh no, he's got this extra TC here. My mistake. Are there any extra TCs up? We'll have a quick look at this fight first, but it's definitely going to go in favor here of Bromite, as this knight is going to get whittled down eventually by the crossbows and by the spears from Bromite. No extra TCs up apart from the additional 1 for the time being for Bromite, and I believe the same cannot be said for Rylo as he chucks out a TC out to the right hand side of his economy as well. 41 villages to 48 for the time being, and the pikeman upgrade even now coming in for Bromite as well, so he's investing a lot of upgrades, a lot of resources into upgrades for his military, and of course pikemen, perfect counter to these knights. The monks, perfect counter to these knights as well. And obviously, here's a converted. Here's one of those converted knights. +2 defense, +1 attack, and bloodlines done on these bad boys. And now it's going to starting to look really, really hard for Rylo. Obviously, he doesn't at the moment have any sort of a counter to the knights. The monks. He doesn't have any counter to these pikes, and it's getting really difficult. It's starting to look really difficult for Rylo as well. It looks like he's just going to sit back and try and boom, get his economy going. Of course, he does still have this fish boom going on, but I mean, there's not a great deal of fish. Obviously, it's not really a Baltic-sized water in the center here. There's only a certain amount of fish that he can take, or at least the deep sea fish. I suppose he can get fish traps out after that. But anyway, way, Rylo building a castle out here on the left-hand side of his economy, and that is going to stall the aggression. That's going to stall the progression of his opponent into his base, as he is pretty much just saying, you know what, you can have these stables out here on the front, you can have this barracks, you can even have the fucking TC if you want. I'm going to get this castle up, and as long as I get this castle up, I should be nice and safe, at least on the left-hand side of my economy. And Phoenix, what's that he said? Phoenix is triggered by scrubs. What's it like being triggered by yourself then? I mean, I've always wondered what it's like being triggered by yourself. But this castle is definitely going to go up unhindered. Losing a villager there, Rylo, unfortunately. 46 villages, or 47 villages to 60. Bromite still managing to keep his town centres running just that little bit better than his opponent. Oh, he's got a TC down here as well. 3 lumber camps in one spot. Yeah, man, you got to make sure that the villagers have a lot of options to drop off their lumber. And of course, walling around his castle as well. Again, a Chris-like strategy here, walling around the base of his castle, such that these rams and such can't get close enough to the castle to do the damage to take it down. Now, of course, Mangudai also being spewed out here as well. They will be a decent counter to all of these. That would be a decent counter, at least a decent answer to most of these units. Of course, the pikemen will do decent damage to the Mangudai if they can get up in the face of them at the very least. But again, for the time being, this just means that Rylo is nice and safe out here on the left-hand side of his economy. He is still trailing by 14 villages, I believe. Shouldn't really be doing math on stream, as Nilly always says, but there it is. Anyway, what are we seeing back at home? Well, I'm going to quickly switch over to Bromite's point of view, because he is looking like he is very, very close to clicking up to the Imperial Age. Once the university goes up, he will be able to get up to the Imperial Age. Of course, you can see he doesn't have that many farms having been seeded. That Aztec economy, man, it just kicks into overdrive. Super, super strong. And up to the Imperial Age he goes. Bodkin era coming in for Rylo as well, just trying to help out his Mangudai, trying to help out these castles, trying to help out the defense on this left-hand side of his economy. But he's going to find himself in a very, very difficult position in just a moment's time as his opponent gets into the Imperial Age. Of course, I mean, he should be okay. He should still be okay. Rylo, that is, for the time being, because, you know, there's no castles up here for Bromite, which means the Trebs aren't going to be coming down to start taking down the castles. He's going to have to rely on rams, which means he's going to have to get in range of the 5 of these Mangudai, which, of course, have a bonus damage against siege. So in that respect, it's going to be looking a little bit difficult for Bromite. What rating are these guys? That's a really good question. I think Bromite is 1550 or so on Voobly, somewhere around there. Rylo, I'm really not sure. I've never seen him play before this tournament, and even now that I've seen him play in this tournament, I'm still not really sure. I guess, yeah, around 1600 potentially would be a pretty good guess, I would say. But anyway, Ballistics and Leather Archer Armor coming in now for Bromite as well. So looking like he wants to continue down this Archer line. He does have a good, I was going to say a good number of crossbows, but he doesn't really have a good number of crossbows out yet. A second castle and Ballistics also having been done for Rylo. And a 4th town centre coming up, well, 3rd, 4th, quote-unquote, 4th TC coming up out here to the right-hand side of Rylo's economy as well. Selling a little bit of stone, selling a little bit of wood. Looks like he wants to be getting up to the Imperial Age. Oh crap, he's ages away. Holy Jesus, this is going to be really hard for him. He does have a huge fish boom, well, not even a huge fish boom, but he's got a fish boom going on, and he's still nowhere near the Imperial Age. Bromite is going to be in a fantastic position, as now he comes forward with, is it just 2 villages to build this castle? Is it really just 2 villages? Let's have a quick look. Well, he's building a castle out on the front, and no, it seems like he's bringing a lot of villages which are actually the villages are blocked by the house here. Oh, Jesus. Okay, there we go. The house has been deleted. Now they come forward. Oh, they're trying to mine the gold. Okay, that's not as funny, but that's totally fine. Put a doubt in. And it's over in 5 minutes exactly. But Bromite up to the Imperial Age now, with Capped Ram and Bracer being researched for him immediately as well. And I wonder what Rylo will be thinking now. He still is he's so far away from the Imperial Age. It is absolutely ridiculous. He's moving around to the right-hand side here as well. So at the very least, he is taking a bit of map control. He's got his Mangudai patrolling, making sure that they are keeping nice and active out here on the eastern side of the map. Moving out to take more stone. Of course, Mongol players, they want that stone, man. They want to get that stone up to get those to get those Mangudai out. And he's walling in behind his castles again as well. Arbalest, Thumbring coming in for Rylo, Arbalest coming in for Bromite. And once this castle is up, he will be able to get out those trebuchets and start whittling away at these castles, defending the left-hand side of Rylo's economy. But again, down here toward the right-hand side, what's going on? Well, there's nothing really going on. Could be interesting to see if Rylo does a bit of aggression. Maybe, imagine a couple of Pietardinhos in here and busting in and then just sending Mangudai into the economy here of Bromite. That could be super strong. But of course, a lot of the economy here for Bromite is actually congregated and centered around town centers. So there's only a minimal amount of damage really that Rylo would be able to do in such a way. But out here on the left-hand side is where the action, I think, is really going to start happening. As we can see now that Bromite is starting to prepare his army, starting to prepare his force, and we can see one trebuchet, two trebuchets even, coming out on the left-hand side as Rylo goes for fortified wall, just to try and provide a bit extra protection for himself out here to his western flank. A stable being thrown up at the back of his base. I can only imagine that will be for... No, he's already got bloodlines, so maybe looking to get out some light cav or something? I'm not really sure. But either way, the Trebs are about to start deploying on these castles. And as Zero Empires always says, once the Trebs are popping, the castles are a dropping. And that's more or less going to be what happens here as well. Fortified wall having been completed, and now the siege, the Imperial siege from the Aztec player really starts to kick into overdrive. How long will it be before this castle starts to be repaired by the villagers here of Rylo? Well, time will show. For the time being, let's zoom out to the right hand side and see that there is a castle drop appearing. There's a castle appearing, a castle being erected on the right hand side of Bromite's economy, that is. For the time being, he's not really focusing on that at all. Bromite's attention is more or less focused at the front, on the front lines, as conscription comes in for him now as well. He's getting a decent amount of upgrades on all of his units. Is he going for eagles? I don't think so. I think he's just going to spam the crap out of the pikemen. Obviously, Aztecs don't actually get halberdier, unfortunately for them, but with Garland Wars, their pikemen still do pack a hell of a punch. In this castle, it seems like Rylo doesn't really care about that castle at all, as one more trebuchet rock falls into it, and he gets razed to the ground. Bromite building another castle as well. Is it out on the right hand side? It is. It's on the right hand side to start defending his economy here as well. How many castles does does raid? I'm not sure, but you can see the castle count down here. So CST is castle, so it's 2 castles at the moment for Rylo compared to the 1 of Bromite. Although Bromite is putting up another castle in his defensive position inside of his economy, it's going to go up. These Mangudai have not got in there quickly enough at all. And of course, with bracer and chemistry and such having been researched on this castle, it will be able to hit the to hit the shoreline here, and he could go ahead and redock there as well. Trebuchet is now firing upon the second cut. Well, okay, they will be firing upon the Blue. Blue has 2 castles. For the time being, he's got 1 up here obviously inside of his economy and 1 down here to the right hand side as well. Now the Mangudai is starting to get into the economy here of Bromite and doing a nice bit of raiding. 115 villages to 89, haven't checked that in quite some time. Obviously the Aztecs probably don't need that much of an economy, with their economy being so strong, and at the moment only going for eagles and cheap pikemen and such. But the castle here is going to be coming under fire very, very soon from Rylo, who has clicked up to the Imperial Age. Which TC is it in? Well, it's in one that's a little bit further back, which is always good to see for him as well. A couple of Mangudai running rampant inside of the base here of Bromite. Unfortunately for Rylo, actually only attacking a house. No uniquely perfect. I have not casted this game before. Pyrosaurus Rex and Flightless Bird have casted this game though. I think when it was being played live between these 2 players. But Elite Skirmisher coming up now as well for Bromite. That's going to provide a fantastic meat shield and a brilliant counter against the Mangudai. They're not even Elite Mangudai yet either, and these Arbalists are going to absolutely chew through them and spit them back out. They outrange them, they outdo them in pretty much every single way, except maybe mobility and HP, as another castle comes up inside the economy here of Bromite. Like I said, Imperial Age upgrade coming in for Rylo as well. Can he hold on? Well, he's going to lose this castle in the front. Repairs are not coming in quickly enough for him. He has villages near the vicinity. He has villages in the vicinity with which he could repair this castle, but again, he doesn't seem to care so much about the castle at all, and another couple of volleys from the trebuchets mean they are going to be cleared up, or that castle is going to be cleared up very quickly, whereas out here on the right-hand side of Bromite's economy, another castle is trying to be hurried up, and Bromite thinking, hey, these Arbalists are super strong as the Aztecs, I'm going to start taking down this castle with just Arbalists, and he's sacrificing a lot of villagers to get this castle up as Bromite. He will get it up eventually, and he has lost a good number of villagers. You can see now the villager count pretty much even for these two players, whereas there was a 20 difference, a villager difference of 20 not too long ago. So now, just like that, 3 castles for Bromite and 2 castles for Rylo. Now Rylo is going to have to make a decision. Is he going to stick with the elite Mangudai option, where one of his castles is about to start be taken down by the trebuchets that are going to come out from Bromite? I can only imagine, from the castles back inside his base. Trebuchet there. This castle here is going to be taken down quick smart, and is going to be very, very unfortunate for him as well. Since he has upgraded the elite Mangudai, these guys are by no means fully upgraded. They take a long time to fully upgrade, the elite Mangudai do. Whereas on the left-hand side of Rylo's economy, he's struggling to keep the siege. He's struggling to keep this forward pressure from Bromite out of his base. The walls have been breached, the walls have been broken, and now in comes the long red piercing finger of Bromite as he starts to push in this token palisade wall, because why the hell not just get anything down that you can. So on the left-hand side of Rylo's economy, it's starting to look very, very dicey. Chemistry now coming in for Bromite as well, pretty much just so we can see the pretty fiery balls from these trebuchets. But like I said, the castle out here to the right-hand side of Bromite's economy is going down under the fire of 2 trebuchets. And just like that, only 1 castle to produce elite Mangudai for Rylo, and I feel like he has made a very, very wrong decision here in delaying. Not a wrong decision, but he's just not played the game as well as he should have. He had the fishing advantage. He should have been able to utilize it better, in my opinion, and get up to the Imperial Age quicker than his opponent, because that's where this has all gone pear-shaped for him. He needed to get up to the Imperial Age much sooner than he did, and instead, the Aztec player Bromite here has managed to get up to the Imperial Age first, and has started to get out those first trebuchets, and now starting to push quite heavily into the base of Rylo here. Now, what's Rylo doing in response to all this? Well, he's building another castle. I can't see where he's building it. There he is. He's building it. No, that's a university. Oh, for fuck. No, that's a castle. He is building his castle inside of his economy here as well. So as Bromite starts to push in, he's still going to be stunted. He's still going to be stalled by yet another castle. Whereas out here on the right-hand side, Bromite has managed to beat back one of Rylo's castles, and a couple of battering rams here also being queued up for the Mongol player Rylo. And Rylo still does have a good amount of stone in. Well, I say a good amount of stone income. We've still got a couple of stone piles left out here on the right-hand side, but the elite skirmishers and the pikemen now into the wood line as well. Into the wood line here of Rylo as well. The villager count starting to get very, very low for him now. 70 villagers to 98. So Bromite hasn't really suffered too many villager losses in the past couple of minutes, whereas Rylo cancelling drill, grabbing conscription instead, still does not really have any sort of economy to speak of that he can support Mangudai production, that he can support any sort of any sort of military production. Scale mail armor coming in for +1 defense on the infantry units here of Bromite, and that's just going to provide a little bit more staying power for those infantry units as they try and get up into the face of these Mangudai, as they try and get up into the face of these rams and such from his opponent. But of course it is looking very, very dicey, looking very, very dark and very dismal here for Rylo, as his main economy, the centralized area of his main economy, his starting economy, is pretty much no more. Siege Workshop being thrown up as well at the back of his base. It's not really going to be doing too much though. I mean, he doesn't have Onager upgrades, and Arbalists with Chemistry and Bracer will just absolutely shred through the mangonels and rams and such that will be coming out from Rylo. Bromite now sending in his capped rams. Of course, the elite Mangudai here do have a bonus damage against siege, so they will be able to be taken down at least a lot quicker than any other ranged units would be able to do. But with 3 trebuchets firing upon the castle from the back behind all this meat of pikes and elite skirmishers and arbalists and eagles, this castle is going down. There's no way that Rylo can stop that one going down. Chain mail armor now coming in for Bromite as well. And unfortunately for Rylo, he's not really making any moves. He's not making any pushes into the economy of his opponent down here on the right-hand side. And Bromite thinking, hey, I've had enough. I'm going to start pushing out with my units here. Able to one-shot the Mangudai here from from Rylo, who's only just getting Bracer for these bad boys now. He doesn't have any of the defensive upgrades on them either. He's got Thumbring, I think he's got Ballistics, but he doesn't have those defensive upgrades, which means that they are just going to be picked off very, very easily from the Arbalists here of Bromite, who is now coming forward somewhere. He's building a castle. Where is he building the castle? Bromite, where are you building your next castle? Switch over to his point of view. Can we see? There it is there. So he's trying to build a castle out here toward the right-hand side as well. And unfortunately for him, he's getting it completely and utterly denied by the elite Mangudai here. By the elite Mangudai of Rylo, who has finally decided that he should be using this army down here to the south of the map. But of course, it is starting to become too little, much too late, as his main economy has been completely gutted. There is nothing left here. Well, nothing really to speak of. And just to rub, just to rub salt into the wound, we can see that the
You're a beautiful man, Mr. Moo.
Thank you very much for the donation. Much appreciated. And just to add insult to injury, we can see that Bromite is pushing forward with his trebuchets and taking down, I believe, the second to last, well, third to last town centre of Rylo as well. I don't get why Blue let Red destroy his base. I don't really get why a lot of things have happened here. Elite Eagle Warriors now, still not all the upgrades having been done on these bad boys for the time being. Plate Mail Armor for the +4 defense coming in on them now as well. Siege Workshop going to go down in just a matter of time. And again, Rylo starting to try and push forward. Oh, he's got one cheeky battering ram here on this castle. Trying to take down this castle of his opponent, but the castle, the friendly castle, the friendly fire of the castle here from Bromite going to deal with that quick, smart. But of course, now Rylo thinking, hey, I need to make some headway. I need to start making tracks into my opponent's base. Man, I enter my name. Oh, Tyrant's still anonymous. Well, thank you very much for the donation, Pran. Very much appreciated, man. But down here to the south of the map, we can see Rylo now starting to at least try something, try and put a bit of aggression, try and do some damage to his opponent. Of course, you know, his water control pretty much superfluous at this stage. And Bromite, this is reminiscent of Fletch and Sir Lawrence, if ever I've seen it. I wish Octagonal was in the chat right now, because he would be fucking loving that. But yeah, it is not looking very good for Rylo. He's got, I suppose he has reboomed back into it quite well. He's got a good number of villagers back here toward the back of his base. Still got a few villagers doing some walling business here, and still just valiantly trying to wall up here as well, to try and keep these eagles out. But of course there is more than one way to skin a cat, and there is still a hole in this wall here, and now the eagles, obviously the hole in this wall as well. And now the elite eagles can really start to get into the face of these elite Mangudai. They can start picking down these villages, and with these trebuchets now being packed up and moving on, it's only a matter of time before a pincer maneuver, a pincer movement from our red Aztec player Bromite here is going to start occurring. And of course we can see archery rangers now being thrown up in haste in a defensive position inside of his economy. Getting those elite skirmishers out of these rangers are going to be super effective once again at being able to take down these elite Mangudai before they start making too much of a headway into his base. Forging now coming in as well for Bromite, as we see an extra +1 attack coming in on his infantry units as a defensive castle is thrown up inside the quote-unquote economy here. As a Jesus, inside the economy, the quote-unquote economy here of Rylo. But of course the elite eagles now starting to get in the face of these guys here. They are fully upgraded in terms of the defense. They still do not have garland walls, they still do not have blast furnace and iron casting, and now underneath a castle and the elite Mangudai fire, I think he might be able to clear out those elite eagle warriors out of his base. But there is still a huge amount of army back up here toward the northern area of the map, and the trebuchets now.
You're a beautiful cow, Mr. Moo_Moo.
Thank you very much, Robo, for the donation. I guess you managed to get the G2A sort of, or whatever the hell it's called, Gaming for Good thing sorted as well. But again, with the trebuchets now moving around from the northern area of the map, these castles are under fire, and Rylo is now starting to get pincered. Although, to be fair, he has managed to do a lot of damage inside the economy here of Bromite. He has managed to take down a town centre, he's managed to take down a couple of trebuchets, and again, a more defensive castle coming up on the left-hand side of the economy of the base here. of Bromite. Elite skirmishers coming out of these archery ranges will eventually be able to pick those Mangudai off inside of his base, but again, the bonus damage that Mangudai get against Siege acting out super strong here as these trebuchets getting picked off one by one. Snipe 1, snipe 2, snipe 3! It will be a third trebuchet snipe coming down as well, as Rylo does manage to keep at least one castle up and alive. But again, the elite skirmishers is all that Bromite really needs to be able to win this game. Brilliant counter, perfect counter to the elite Mangudai so far, and elite Eagle Warriors with a couple of elite skirmishers in tow now coming over here to clean up this mega army of elite Mangudai inside of Bromite's base. Not really too much else going on for the time being. A couple of idle villages out to the left hand side, but again, the action, the main focus, the main focal point of all that's going on, all the activity is out here to the right hand side. Siege Ram now coming in as well for Bromite, and it is just a matter of time in this case. Fifth try in 3 days. It is just a matter of time, from what I can see, before the GG is called for Rylo. But of course, he could still stage a huge comeback. 97 villages to 86, so he's not that far behind in terms of economy. It's just his military production buildings that's really going to start hurting him here. Of course, he only has one castle with which to produce elite Mangudai, and of course, against the skirmishers, it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Mixing in some stables, getting out some scouts or light cap to start taking down the skirmishers, and maybe even help out with the trebuchets as well. Would be a really nice move here from Rylo, but I think he is just delaying the inevitable as the Siege Rams now start to get to work on this last castle from Rylo, the last defensive stature of any worth that has been placed inside his newly founded economy down here to the eastern corner of the map, and a couple of Siege Rams are going to be enough to take down this castle. The splash damage also taking down the house just for good measure. The elite Mangudai coming out just stuttering out of this castle one by one by one, and Rylo recognizing now that it is indeed the GG as he calls it on the second game. Let's see if I can time it. I can't. Damn it. There we go. Calls it on the second game between these two players. An hour-long game, and a super strong performance there from Bromite, proving that you don't have to take the water in this map to be able to win, and also proving that Rylo maybe didn't take the advantage of the water to the best of his abilities. But again, super strong play from Bromite. So what we'll do, as always, guys, is we'll come out, we'll switch the game score over to reflect the fact that it is 2-0 here for Bromite. We'll switch the scene back over to the overlay, and I'll see you guys in just a moment's time for the game number 3.